Tell us who you are and where you're from.
Tracey Davis-Denitto. I'm 50. I'm from Bridgeport, Connecticut, by way Boca Raton, Florida.
Okay, so tell me a little bit, Tracy, about what your life was like growing up.
I grew up with 5 brothers. My mom and dad were married, but didn't live in the same house. Throughout the years, they were separated, and so just a lot of chaos, a lot of destructive behavior. My father owned pawn shops.
Okay.
I was married at a very young age. I have 2 children. I definitely was exposed to a lot of things at a very young age. Grew up very fast.
Married at a young age, divorced at a young age, right? 23.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about some of the circumstances that led to you coming here. You got divorced at 23, right? So young when you got divorced. Tell me about, 23 to 49 when you came in here. What was that time frame like for you?
Destructive, messy, definitely in and out of rehab because I started using hard drugs at 23. I would go in and out of prison, in and out of detox, rehabs, Florida, North Carolina, Connecticut, doctors, outpatient programs, meaning doctors, psychiatrists, always diagnosing you with something, thought a pill would help, nothing ever helped. I had a lot of medical issues also that would always lead to using prescription drugs, meaning benzos or opiates, to where that would my tolerance would build. I would always get sober, but then something medically would happen and I would end up on the prescriptions. My tolerance would build, there wasn't enough, so I would start using again because everything it was just a pattern over and over for years. In and out of my family's life. My family has always been there for me, has never, closed the door, but always closed the door to where you couldn't come in if you were doing the wrong thing. Like, you needed to go get help. Okay. So.
Where were your kids?
My kids were with my mom, my dad, with my sister-in-law, my brother, had them for some time too. And they helped, they helped throughout everything. God definitely had his hands in the mix.
How many programs do you think you were in? Different treatment programs?
I'd say inpatient, well over 50.
Wow.
Yes.
The weeks leading up to you coming into the program, those were some really dark times in your life. Will you tell us what those weeks were like for you?
I would say just very dark. There was nothing else other than going to cop in the morning, going home, and just, not wanting to talk to family, not wanting to really do anything. I just didn't even want to take care of myself. I would take care of my significant other more than I would take care of my own needs. I just would try to make it through the day with not being sick. I did come off of methadone. I was on it for like 4 years. And then I came off of methadone in August. And then in October, my significant other passed away. Okay. And in November, it was like 2 weeks later. And several other people have passed away in that time. And then I picked up the phone. I called one of my brothers, his name is Timmy, and he's in a program down in Tennessee, Calvary Chapel for Men down in Tennessee, and he gave me Peggy's number. And he's like, Trey, you're going to have to just give up everything and go. And I was like, I'm going to go. I want to go. I don't care what it takes. He said that was full. He gave me your number. I do not remember calling you or conversation. But I do know, Pat, I do know that week the devil was all over me. I mean, so many different things were happening to pull me out of the loop, but I stayed focused. I got everything packed up, and I left it all behind, and I got on that train, had a little
snafu, little snafu
malfunction, but the Lord definitely got me here, and it has been a year.
It has been a year.
Yeah.
And so you've always known that God was real your whole life. But something was different for you in coming here. But when you got here, you had a moment with him in the beginning, or several moments over those first few weeks. Tell us about that.
When I first got, I was detoxing, and I refused to leave. You did keep asking me if I'd like to go to detox, but I was afraid to leave here because I didn't think I'd get back. And so I was roaming the hallways, and I was in the shower for like hours in the evening, and that was my place where I would talk to him, and I was on, sitting in the shower for hours at a time, crying, and he, I just was, just confessing all my sins, and just every time I would get up the following morning, just things were getting better, and I just kept putting one foot in front of the other, and he kept telling me, just trust in me, Tracy, trust in me, Tracy. Everything else I trusted in, so I mean, I just see no reason not to give this my all. And I sat, no matter what was asked of me, I was willing to do. I didn't mind waiting for anything. It has been a very easy 12 months, only because I surrendered. Amen. My whole life has been very hard because I always did things myself. My way, my time. I'm going to do this. And I had a lot of walls built up over all the years of using all of the, things that have happened in that time, being away in prison, being away from my family, that guilt and shame, you build a lot of walls. Yeah. And I was very hard, very bitter. And, as I've been here, he's just chipped away every day, chipped away. But every morning I'd wake up and say, just do with me as you would like. And here I am.
And here you are.
Yes.
And he's been restoring your mind every day. When you first got here, you couldn't write, you couldn't take notes, you couldn't see the words on the page.
No, I could not.
You couldn't read the word. You couldn't write in the workbook, right? And now, look at all he's done. He's restored your mind. And so, so he's done all that. He's doing restoration. I mean, beautiful, amazing God stories. People, when you see Tracy, ask her to tell you some of the things that God has done in her life this last year, because she has awesome stories to tell. And so now you're at a year and you're about to graduate. Tell us what is next for you.
I think that I just need to stay connected and keep doing what I'm doing for now. I have no plans of going anywhere, and I feel like I've definitely have, that you all have adopted me as a part of your family, and Tom and Sue and all of the whole church, all of you, just everything is great. There's no reason to pull myself away from that. If it's working, why not just stay with it?
Stay
and there's who knows what he has around the corner. If he's done this much in just the first 6 months, I would have never ever imagined that he would bring me that far in just that little bit of time. Yeah. And so I definitely want to help give back. I like to, just be involved. I'm involved in the skate ministry, the kids ministry. I help the kitchen. And I aggravate Lauren a lot.
So she's not going anywhere. She's my thorn. She's here.
Yes.
Right? Amen. So if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yes, exactly.
Right? You're going to stay plugged in. This is going to be your home base. You have a big surgery coming up, but the Lord has really spoken to us about restoration, you being able to travel, be there for your children. You're going to be going home for Thanksgiving now and spend that with your daughter and your grandson, and going to continue serving here as our kitchen manager. The ladies love her. They call her the kitchen witch. That's her title that she gave herself. We did not name her that. She named herself that. She likes to be called that. And we love having you here. So we're grateful that you feel a part of our family and that you feel called to stay here and continue to serve here, and that you don't want to leave because we don't want you to ever leave. And so will you share with us, what is your life verse?
Hebrews 6:19. This hope is a strong and trustworthy anchor for our souls.
Right, it is the hope of heaven. Amen. Thank you so much for sharing your testimony with us today.
You're welcome.
Love you.
Love you too.